Welcome, Sketchbook Heroes and Sketchbook Warriors. We've got quite a battle tonight, quite a journey. Actually, we have Halloween stuff. So welcome. We have some new Zoom users here tonight, and it's a lot of, we actually have 12 new users and about 30 people that signed up for the class. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we go. Let's get this party started. So I kind of showed already what we're going to be doing, but let's do this again. We're going to, let's see, share my screen and go back to what we were doing. I was sharing our website, which is sketchbookhero.com, and also our YouTube channel, which is here. Make sure to like and subscribe. And actually, I'll be making a new channel just for the courses. So if you do go to the YouTube channel has videos, but the videos are just a practice. They're like 3 hours long and all this other stuff. I'm going to cut all these up and make them into 5-10 minute videos, maybe 15 minutes at the most. But yeah, we got a lot of videos. We have 2 years worth of over 2 years. Actually, we're going on 3 years of doing this. There were some videos we didn't record though, so you can see, oh yeah, here it is. This one's 2 years ago. So I do have there's quite a few videos. There we go. Let's get started. So this is what we're going to be drawing tonight. We got this, and this, and this. As a beginner, you should be looking at the ratios, really looking at the height and the width of what you're drawing. And basically what that is looking for squares and circles. So here we go. Let's annotate. This is probably the simplest one. Maybe it's too simple. I don't know. Who did Ellen? Ellen uploaded this. She's I don't know if I don't see her tonight. Maybe here we go. But really simple little egg. Actually, I don't know. You can see if we put a circle on it, how it kind of it fits there. It's a little taller than it is wider. But let's skip that one. I think we can. Let's get to this next one. Let's see which one we're gonna hold off on that one. That one's a cute one. We'll hold off on that one too. I want to start easy. Definitely do both of those dogs. Ooh, look, here's a circle. This might be one of the second one we draw, but I don't see anything else. I just see these. All right, so with these, I don't know what the name of this character is, but let's get started with these characters here, these mummies. And I think they're from, I don't know, I'm not sure what. Hi, Josh. Good to see you.
From Hotel Transylvania.
Oh, is it? I don't know. I don't know where these characters are from. I don't know if they're from Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah, I know this.
All right. I'm not sure which one we're going to start with. Let's see. Let's just do this. And I actually want to start something simple. So actually, why don't we start with this? This is actually, it looks like it's hard, but we'll start with this one and then we'll go backwards. I didn't even have any time to plan all this stuff, but here we go. Thank you for coming. We got 2 things in the chat. In the third movie, a bunch of monsters become human. Yes, they are. Oh, okay, so yes, I guess they are from Transylvania. All right, so let's do this. Let me clear all drawings and let's try it one more time. So we do have our pumpkin. Now, when you have something like this is a still life. There's a lot of big shapes. You want to see the big shapes first, right? And how they all fit. So if you're brand new here, we do use shapes, and everything's made up of shapes. That's the first level in drawing. You want to look for shapes. After that, then we're looking for form. These shapes are actually formed. So you see circle, but then you also see a sphere, and that's the next level. But when you're at this level, when you're first starting, just look for shapes. They're all around you, and everything's made up of shapes. And then all we do is look for the relationship of these shapes. One thing we can do here is, since this is a whole still life, I can put a rectangle around it and break this into fourths. So once I click on it, you can see where the middle is, which is right about there, and then right about up here. So I can break this into fourths. That'll help put it on your, it'll help put it on your paper. We're going to break this into quadrants. Here we go. 4 equal spots. And then you can see how everything fits. The biggest challenge when you're first learning to draw is seeing space. So when you break things down like this into fourths, that really helps. You can see how that corn is just up in here, and it's actually kind of like a an oval shape. We can see that oval shape there. There's another oval shape here, and it's at an angle. You can see that angle there. And you can see how big it is. What you want to see is the big shapes. It's almost like you're switching a knob, a setting, right? When you're seeing these big shapes and not looking at all the detail, all this detail, right? You're not looking at all the detail.
Come on, gotta go, gotta have dinner.
All right, Josh, thanks for joining us. We didn't even get to start drawing, but good to hear you. All right, Bob. All right, we have this shape here. We have all these, basically you can see these all really rounded shapes and where they fit and how big they are. All right, so if you're brand new, this is kind of like an intermediate drawing. It's an intermediate drawing, so hang in there. We'll get this. Another thing to notice about this drawing is that there's perspective. So these lines here all go to a vanishing point. They should. Let's see if they do. It's pretty thick. Looks like it's right about there. There's a vanishing point. Oh, this line is off. That one is off, but it is going back in that general direction. Looks like there should be one point there. I'm going to move this one. Yeah, it's someone you see, you can see you don't have to have perfect perspective. Yeah, let's see, this one's, yeah, there we go. So it looks like they're using that point and then another point up here. It's not exact. It could have been like a, there we go. So it's somewhere in that area. Wow, that one's probably a little bit lower. And right in there. And then this one right in there. Now this one has a lot of details, so we could probably spend a lot of time on this. I'll just keep it simple though. And that's it. Here we go. Let's get going. I'm gonna screenshot this and put it in the chat. Let's screenshot this. There we go. Put it in the chat. Here we go. Let's get this party started. All right, welcome. If you're brand new here tonight, we have our paper and we're breaking this into fourths. That's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to try to find the half. If you need to fold your paper to find the middle, you can do that. Or just try eyeballing the center. It doesn't even have to be exact. I mean, this is just to get our spacing, and I'm using a ballpoint pen. It doesn't matter what you're using. What's important is the practice. And don't let things hold you back, because that's what happens. Oh, I don't have the right materials. I don't have, that it doesn't matter. You're just learning to draw. You can use chocolate. You can use sand, a stick in sand to draw. All right, so there we go. We have it broken down. Peaches. We're drawing we're drawing a big pumpkin here. So break it down into fourths. Good to see you. All right, and that's I'll take a little break here, so make sure you are following along. Let's see, I think we should use a pencil though, so because this one has shading. I could do the shading with the pen, but well, let's just do this. All right, so you should have your quadrants. Now let's the biggest thing we have is that pumpkin, and it's a circle shape. I can see see where it kind of fits. It's kind of going in this space right in here, and you can sketch really lightly just to get everything in. And I was talking about the switch. You want to switch back and forth, being able to see the big shapes. Don't worry about the detail. And then switch to middle shapes and then detail, and be able to switch back and forth. That actually takes a bit of practice. It does take a bit of practice, because we can get caught up and lost in all the detail. All right, so here's our pumpkin. It's in that space. It kind of takes up this little space here, this space here. I can actually even see this as a different shape, and then this as a different shape. And then my circle, some people say, oh, you drew a perfect circle, but I sketched it in. And if you look closely, you can actually see the mistakes. I mean, you draw light until you think it's right, and then you just go darker. And that's, just practice drawing circles and practice drawing. You'll see the same shapes come up over and over and over, and you're like, oh, you just practice and you get better. All right, now I can see the spacing between there and the spacing down here, and that should be right about here. Whatever, I think this is another pumpkin or some kind of squash right in here, and it's going behind our pumpkin. So there's actually, this is actually probably a good thing to talk about. This is like an intermediate. I can keep it simple. But yeah, actually we can keep it simple. There's between beginner and intermediate. It's only intermediate because of all the detail and a lot of stuff that's happening. But you can see the basic shapes. Now, we are using what I call space. So how do artists create space, right? So I call it pods, space pods, all right? And this artist is using all the pods, right? So here, we'll talk about those pods in a minute. Let's get this one. Is this an apple or it doesn't matter, but it's an oval shape that goes in here. Notice how it fits. So every time you're drawing something, it's all shapes and it's like a puzzle, right? We're putting these puzzles together and seeing how all these shapes fit. There's an oval right in here. We don't worry about all the detail. We're just putting all the big shapes together. I can see how much this shape comes out and then how that all fits. All right. There's that kind of apple shape. And then we have a pear shape over here. And then we have a peach over here. No, I don't know what that is. All right, but here we go. Now, what's interesting about the pear is actually two shapes together, and there's an axis line. There's an axis line. I didn't really talk about that axis line, but there's like an angle to it. I can see that angle. So let's see. There's one circle here, and I'm looking at here. It's probably a little bit higher up, a little bit higher up than this apple, just slightly higher up, and it's a circle. And another circle, and it goes higher up. There we go. The angle's still the same, but I'm just going to move it over. It looks like a guitar now. And that's it. You know, a guitar is two shapes like that. Oh, that would be cool to have a pair guitar. All right, or a pair of guitars. I like music. So here we go. We got one circle, another circle. We got the number 8. And then we just, if you can find that center, this really helps because symmetry is one of the challenges in drawing. So if you can find the center, get those circle shapes in there, that really helps getting your shapes symmetrical, which is the same measurement, symmetrical on both sides. You can measure and kind of see. Actually, I can do another axis line this way and that way. This is for beginners to help you. But when you have that practice, you don't need it. You can just kind of do it. This is a complex shape right in here. So it's a compound shape. It's made up of two shapes, kind of like a compound word, made up of, two different words you put together, make a new word. All right, you have two circles there. And then you have our other circle that's right about there. If you get it, exact, if your spacing is off, that's okay. It's not a big deal. Don't beat yourself up. The mistakes are there to learn. It's either win or learn. And then the spacing is the biggest problem, you see, but this helps breaking it into fourths. Seeing the big shapes first. Don't get lost in all the detail. You can get lost in all that detail. Don't get lost in the detail. You want to it's like you're in the forest, right? If you're in the forest, you want to look up and look down at everything and get a high advantage to kind of see where you're at. But if you're lost in the leaves, if you're lost, it's hard to get your way out. You kind of have to have a big view and see the big shapes. Right, you have this other apple that's kind of like back here, and I think that's it. We've got all our except for the corn, but we have everything on the table. And here's the table right here, the table, and it should line up. This is the biggest thing, getting this table to line up from here. And I'm just going to follow. I'm using my finger here at the bottom and kind of like almost like making it follow all the way across, making sure kind of it's more or less in the same spot. Actually, it should probably be a little bit higher. So here we go, a little bit higher, bring it up, bring it across. Yeah, bring it up a little bit higher. That would probably be better. Something looks off a little bit somewhere, somehow. But no big deal. So if it's off this much. It's not a big deal. I'm going to keep that top line and put it right in there. All right, I think that's pretty much it. I just need my corn. There's a lot of stuff happening with this corn up in here. I mostly draw using pencil, even though I have a bunch of other supplies I could use. Yeah, yeah, it depends on what your outcome is. What is your intention? If you're observing and just learning to draw, or you can use anything. But then if you're doing something for, I don't know. There's just so many ways to go with it. If you're doing blueprints, if you're doing, who knows? All right, so if I look, if I break this in half, this quadrant in this half is where the that corn is, and it's kind of like this oval shape on this side. And it actually probably comes down a little bit lower, but it's in that half. It comes out that way. And then we've got another one coming out at this angle. Notice that angle. And then I can put that corn in there as well. Looks like it's overlapping or underlapping. It goes under. Oh, space pods. We still got to talk about space pods, how artists create space, right? It's an illusion. You're dealing with a flat surface here. You got to learn about space pods and how artists create space, right? So the P stands for placement. The P, let's write it up here. P stands for placement. And everything that's lower is closer, placement. Everything that's lower is closer to you, and things that are higher up, even just a little bit, this one's here and this one's here. So this pear is actually a little bit further back than this apple here. So this is way in the back here. You can see just things that are higher up are usually further back, and that's placement. That's the P in space pods. The O is my favorite. One of my favorites is overlapping, because everywhere you look, there's overlapping. There's something in front, there's something behind. See, this pumpkin here is in front of this other pumpkin that's back here, and it overlaps. So if you were to actually have X-ray vision, use your imagination, the power of imagination right in here, it would come over like that. You can see it kind of overlapping right in there. And then see this one overlapping here. And you got to see how much it overlaps too. This actually helps with your drawing and accuracy, seeing how much something overlaps. Right, seeing using your imagination and seeing, okay, it's kind of like back in here. If I can imagine it still back in here, it would be over here, and actually would make your drawings more accurate, because this is just part of a circle that is back here, whatever that apple or whatever shape that is back there. All right, what else is there? Ooh, that pumpkin is going to be a bit of a challenge. It's we'll get there. We'll get there. So we've got our corn, where our corn's going to go. We got a lot of like bricks in the background too. Really, and there's has shading and all kinds of other stuff, other challenges that are in there. Wow, we're starting off hard tonight. Usually we try to keep it simple. All the drawings submitted were a little bit of a challenge, but you can see this is not that hard. It's really all the detail and getting it this is all the icing on the cake. All right, speaking of the cake, we got placement, overlapping, and the other pods, P-O-D. D is detail. That's the detail. Things that are closer have detail. Things that are further away have less detail. And in the distance, there's dissonance. That's the D. Like if you ever see mountains, sometimes they look blue or look because they kind of go into the sky color. So there's you lose the detail. Things that are closer have more detail. So placement, overlapping, detail, and then my favorite, space pods. The S is size. Things that are closer are bigger, and things that are further back are smaller. Even at a close distance, and we're talking like this close, watch. If you put your hands together like this, you put one hand up, you can see one hand is bigger than the other, and that's just this distance, right? I had somebody said, oh yeah, you can actually, with your thumb, you can actually cover the sun. I'm like, oh yeah, that's good. And with your hand, you can cover the universe, I told a student of mine. But yeah, it's all size. It's actually an interesting thing. How big is big? I was just talking about that with my girlfriend, not that way, but it's about scale. You think the sun is huge. The sun is about 1 million times the size of the earth, but then it's not even one of the big stars. Yeah, the sun is a star. What's the closest star to us? Sometimes people, how long does it take for the earth to go around the sun? Anyway, size, it's actually an interesting thing to think about and study. Anyways, here we go. Let's get going on our drawing here. So let's start with that pumpkin. Start with the pumpkin, and then if you get everything else, you get everything else. The bricks in the back aren't a big deal. I can kind of block them in. I can kind of see without all the detail. There's one there, there's one over here, and you can kind of start putting them in. I'm not you might want to go at this point at your own pace, because I might be going too fast, too slow, I don't know. All right. So you want to actually, in anything, that's what makes this hard. Because looking at this live, we're live here. But if you have a recording, you can speed it up, slow it down, freeze it, stop it, because there we go. Let's just go ahead and start. All right. So there is overlapping with the stem, and the stem does come down a bit right in here. You can see it kind of comes down a little bit. That overlapping, I can see that angle of that whole stem is kind of like at a slight angle. And then I have the top covered. So let me see if I can, ah, I didn't stop sharing. How funny. All right, so now you can see at a bigger size. Nobody said anything, but I blocked it all in. I'll leave it here for a little bit longer because now you can see it probably at a bigger size. Let me see. This will probably help better too. Let me see. Let me spotlight for everyone. There we go. All right, all right. Let me see who's out there. Give it a second. All right, we've got 14 people here tonight. Thank you for joining us. There we go. All right. Alan, you're in our thoughts. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for actually, Alan, for submitting the pictures. This one was submitted by Alan. Again, you're in our prayers and in our thoughts, actually, because I know you're going through some challenges. Yeah, you're going through some challenges. So hang in there. Thank you for actually even thinking of us and through your challenges, putting pictures up. All right, here we go. Let's do this. Now there's an oval here at the top of this stem. There's an oval, right? So that's one of the shapes, common shapes that we see a lot. And that's the stem, the top of that stem. And I'm putting that in there. Now here we have these ovals that these ridges, or I don't know what they're called. They're these kind of like oval shapes. There's going to be one here, and I kind of lost. Let me have both of them. I'll put a bomb. Okay, here we go. There we go. There we go. I want to have both my drawings up so I can see how it all fits. So this actually goes into this next square. This oval is really that big. It goes into this quadrant. It goes into here, and and I can see how it hits this apple right in here. It's right in here with that apple. See this point right here. This is a crucial point right here. That crucial point helps. There we go. Going this way. And we're not starting with cartoons. I like drawing cartoons, but I remember somebody complaining, "You're doing too many cartoons." I'm like, well, I'm trying to, this is for beginners. It's a good way to start drawing, drawing cartoons. And then, then from there, drawing life, still life. This is, you can put these things together and arrange them and think about flow. The artist that put this together actually knows about composition. You have the rule of thirds. This is the main emphasis. There's a lot of stuff happening with as far as design and how you put things together. That's a whole other, once you learn how to draw, then you can start doing that. And what's awesome about doing the big shapes is that kind of helps with composition, because you can really quickly put a composition together, just not worrying about the details and seeing how everything's going to fit. And the artist who did this kind of, okay, I want this here, I want there, I want this to come out this at this angle, and everything kind of has a flow to it, a flow. It all fits. All right, there's our first oval. Kind of made it like an egg, but yeah, it's almost like an egg shape. Maybe, here we go. It's a little eggy. All right, and it does come down to the bottom. So I've got that. This is the shape that's closest to us. You've got this oval shape. And there we go. Let's put another oval shape. More oval shapes, please. There we go. So we got this oval shape is kind of behind here, and it's kind of slices this space here now. You can see this here, and this oval shape goes in here and kind of slices into this space down here. And then make sure you have the bottom part that's flat right in there. There we go. There we go. That's that oval shape right there. And how it's attached, kind of like the letter C right in there. And then you can see where that stem is. And then let's get that other oval shape. This one's on top. This one's overlapping the other pumpkin. And this one goes up and over and around. Yep. Yeah, and as soon as I have my videos, then I'll have a new channel. I'll be putting them on the new channel. That'll be the channel for courses, the course. Right now, the channel that I have is a channel for just the class, these classes. So it's going to be specific. What I'm going to need from everybody is to sign up as a subscribe, so I can get that channel going. All right, we have this space here, and I've got just like this center one. I've got another center one on this side, and it goes right in the middle of that, right in there, and it's going behind that shape. Yeah, right where those two shapes kind of meet. There we go. There's our pumpkin. 'Tis the season, right? It's more than just pumpkins. A pumpkin we have will happily subscribe. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, especially once we have the course. Once they have the course, it's going to be I believe it's going to be the fastest way to learn how to draw. It really, because I'm going to break it down and you're going to practice at your level. And you focus, you know what your focus is. Oh, I need to focus on this. And then you practice that till you get better at it. And then you can, just like we're learning pickleball, you got to know what you're trying to improve. You just don't go out there nilly-nilly. You want to focus on something and kind of like, okay, I'm working on this. And it's not about winning or losing. It's focusing on on the fundamentals, focusing on what you need to focus on. And once I break it down, then you'll know, oh, okay, I understand how to do the big shapes. Okay, you practice just doing the big shapes. Actually, you don't even wouldn't even worry about all these middle shapes already. Just do that. Okay, next drawing, middle shapes, big shapes, next drawing, big shapes, next drawing. That's I'm going to have a whole section, a whole bunch of videos just doing that, not even getting into this much detail, just looking at the big shapes, because that's what you want to practice, and then working on the details and all the other stuff, which takes really a lot more time. So if you do it the other way, just doing the big shapes, you actually practice more. But you don't have finished drawings. I mean, you can do some of that. And balance, you got to balance yourself out. All right, here we go. Let's see. We got our other pumpkin that's back here now. Well, we finished with this pumpkin. There is some detail in here with that stem. The stem is kind of, it's got texture. It's got all kinds of stuff happening, but it's basically a form, a cylinder. It's a cylinder like a can or a cup, right? It's that cylinder. That's why you got to practice those ovals. All right, here, let's go with this other pumpkin side on this side. All right, we got up to 15 people. All right, somebody subscribed. Awesome. Thank you for subscribing. Get those numbers up. I think we've got about 200 people subscribed on our Sketchbook Hero YouTube channel. Let me see. I think we've got, let's see, 197. Let me see. Let me refresh. Wow. 100. Oh, no, okay. No, we have 197 subscribers on our YouTube channel. That's great. Wow. If three of you, we can take it to 200. Let's take it to 200. You said there's going to be a new channel? Yes, there's going to be a new channel. It's going to be Sketchbook Warrior, because you got to be a warrior, right? You got to be a warrior. It's more than just a hero. Hero is, there's going to be a new channel. And that new channel is going to have all the courses, but that's the Sketchbook Hero channel with the videos. Yeah, the new one will have the courses. So the course, you'll be able to, actually, I should show you. You'll be able to go step by step and focus on each thing, and that's what it's about, step by step. Look at that teapot. All right, here we go. Let's see. You can see what the logo is going to look like. There we go. There we go. Here's the logo. There's the logo. All right, so Sketchbook Warrior. We've got our new logo. It's the clean version. This is the cleanest version. So you can actually look at the detail of this. I mean, if we go really close, this was done with Illustrator, the program Illustrator. All right, +1. Thank you, Zoom user, for subscribing. We're at probably 90. I don't know what is it. We're getting close to 200. Should throw a little party here. Close to 200 users, subscribers. 200. I need I need a lot more, but that'll come with time. All right, here we go. What else? Let's continue here. Yeah, so go at your own pace. We are kind of going a little slow now here. This one's actually there's a slight angle to this this closest oval that's to us. There's a slight angle to it, a slight angle. I'm trying to capture that, and then it's behind here. Let's go and see how big it is, how it fits. This is what makes drawing so fun, because once you see the big shapes and then you start breaking it down like a puzzle, seeing how all the shapes fit, how all these shapes fit, and see if I had X-ray vision, it would go back in here, right? Or it would be back in there, something like that. But there's that oval shape right in there. And then it's broken down. Can someone tell me what they said about the new channel? My cat was meowing up a storm. Yeah, there's going to be a new YouTube channel, but it won't happen till next year. It won't happen till next year. If you can subscribe. So you can subscribe to the old one, the new one, the one we have. It's up there. I already posted it. I can post it again. Somebody in the chat is asking. There it is. That's our YouTube channel. Subscribe. Spread the word. All right, here we go. I got to divide this now. I see I'm going a little too low. I can already see just how this is divided. And this is divided probably right about in there. I need to bring this up. So fix that, bring it up. And I'm not worried about erasing, especially when you're sketching. I mean, this all can be shaded. See, like that little mistake right there, it's gone. It's gone. See, so you really practice your drawing. You practice problem solving problems. All right, we lost somebody, but that's all good. Solving problems. Like, oh my God, it's too hard. It's okay. All right, I'm not going to do all. I'm going to just do some of the texture, some of the stuff. There we go. Let's see. All right, we got one pumpkin done, and then you can see all the shading and stuff. Even if you just keep it like this, that's fine. You got to know what level you're at, and then push yourself to that limit, and be consistent. Then you'll know what the next level is. The next level, okay, I need to work on my shading. I need to work on my shapes. First, you work on your shapes, and then your ratios, angles, proportions. And once you got that, or your ratios, angles, proportions, I call it wrap to draw, ratios, angles, proportions. Then you move to form, and that actually already helps. You'll have a big step because you already know about ratios, angles, and proportions. Once you get into form, that's going to help so much. Seeing ratios, angles, and proportions at that with form. All right, and that's wrap to draw. Wrap it up. All right, it's got a stem. I just did the stem without talking about it. All right, let's go over here. Another stem and this little paradigm. My brain went wrap, and I was confused about what the W meant. Yeah, it's RA to the double P. Wrap. What does the W mean? That's a great question. Is it? Yeah. And if you go to wraptodraw.com, that takes you to our website as well. That's another one that I own, Wrap to Draw. RAPP. Wrap to Draw. RAPP, the number 2, draw.com. All right, there's that other stem. Then we have the other stem for the pair. We can zoom in on quadrants. Why don't we do that so you can see a little bit better this quadrant. So we're in this quadrant. We put our paper in the fourths. We've got this now here. We've got our pair here. And there's a stem that comes out right in there, the little, and that's actually a small cylinder. All the basic forms. And then this one, I'm not sure what this is. Let's put some overlapping into it. You don't want tangents. You want to stay away from tangents where they're just touching like that. It's better to kind of like put it behind like there's overlapping. And I think that is what's happening. It's behind the pair because it's higher up, right? let's move it a little bit over here and make it obvious that this is in front and this is behind. Really add to that illusion of space. Bam, there it is. See, now it's behind. All right, there it is. Oh, I still need the corn, but let's get the before I get to the corn, let's get all the wood in there. And that nice texture. That's a little more challenging, but let's do this. We've got one right in here, one line, and this line should kind of aim up here. There's usually just one vanishing point, but this wood probably is all crooked, or I don't know. It's somewhere general in this vicinity. This line actually does go up and kind of like you can at that angle. And then right here where this pair is, this kind of goes up at that angle too. You can kind of aim for that space right there. And then this one goes a little bit lower, but in that general area to the middle is this. There we go. See that line? Kind of have to imagine it going back into space. And this follows the rules. Things that are lower are closer. Things that are closer are bigger. See, this it's bigger here, and up here it's a little bit smaller. Up here it's a little bit smaller. It follows our space pods. Overlapping. And then let's see. There we go. This other line right here from this pumpkin. This is a good spot to see because I can go from here, then I can go out up there and see that. Kind of make it sure it kind of goes up in that direction or up here, right about in there, and then it comes out at that angle there. And then here's another one from right here, and then I just go out as it comes out right in there. All right, good. Thought I was in my quadrants still. Here and then out, and then here and out. And even though it's not precise like an architect would have it one vanishing point, you still get the feel of that space, it going back into space with perspective, the ultimate angle in wrap to draw. So wrap, let's put that together. We're looking for ratios. Ratios is how tall something is. Is it taller or is it wider? This is really close to yeah, it's actually a little bit wider if you count here, but if you count the stem, it was actually a perfect circle. Same height, 1-to-1 is the ratio. Or this one is taller, definitely, and this one's wider. You got to see how much taller, how much wider it is. This is wider, right? This pumpkin back here. So that's looking at ratios, and you got to practice that. Ratios, and then you're looking at angles. And then you're looking at P, proportions. That's a tough one. How big something is compared to something else, right? You're looking at proportions like this is a little bit less than half the size of this pumpkin in the front. And that does take a bit of practice, seeing how big this is compared to this, and even drawing angles to it. And helping, there's a lot of tricks with proportions and placement and where things go. So it's kind of the same thing as placement, because you can have something at the right proportion, but it's in the wrong place. And that the biggest example, the greatest example is it a horse, a cow, or a giraffe? Right, the heads could be the right size, but the placement could be off. All right, there we go. Let's get to that ratios aspect perspective. Ratios, angles, proportions, and then placement, and then persistence and patience and process. What is the process? We go from big shapes to small shapes. There's a lot of P's in there, but those are the most important ones. And patience, definitely. And believing, you got to definitely believe. Oh, I can't draw. If you get the can'ts in your pants, oh, I can't do this. That really holds you back. Really holds you back. Some drawings are going to be harder than others. Definitely. Definitely. Faces are hard. These are simple shapes, so this is good. Let's see. Let's do this corn. All right, so we've got our oval here. It's almost straight down. There's a slight angle to it, and it does come down to is it? I don't know. There's a lot of detail, all the corn in there. Yeah, there's a lot of detail in that corn on the cob. Where is it? Where's my picture? Oh, did I lose it? Oh, there they are. There they are. All right. Let's wind this up. All right. We've been at this one for a while. I think we'll do the cartoons next. Oh, somebody added a picture. That's funny. Thank you, Constanza. Yeah, you think you're, what is it? There's an Eagle song that says, it says, we live our lives in chains, never knowing that we always had the key. Something like that. Yeah. That's interesting. And sometimes we're trapped by our own thinking. You get the cants in your pants. That's why I call it confidence. The more you can, the more you build your confidence. I'm like, oh, I can't draw, but then, oh, I can do this, I can do that. You focus on what you can, you grow your confidence. Then yep. What was my quote? I have quotes on all that stuff. Yeah, your confidence grows. There we go. I did one leaf there. Let me zoom in so you can see me doing these. I'm not actually doing it that accurate, but there's one leaf. There's little twists and turns. I'm just just throwing it in there. There's like little twists and turns I'm not actually getting. That's okay. And then you've got this other, the leaves of the corn, which is what they use to make tamales. Tamales. They use these husks, the corn husks. Corn husks. Yep. I was in Iowa a few years ago and saw the cornfields. I was like, wow. Blown away. All the corn. Being a city boy, I had no confidence for my drawing, but I always enjoyed it when I couldn't draw, and I kept going. In the 3 years that I've been drawing. Oh, awesome. Yeah. That's the thing. You want to you got to know why you're doing it. Even like myself, I know I'm learning pickleball. So, it's not easy. But then I know like, oh, okay, I know I'm working on stuff and you're working on, it's actually kind of fun because you're progressing. Okay. Ooh, we're running low on space. So I might cut it short. My computer says I'm running low on space. I haven't downloaded and deleted videos in a while. All right. So that was a message from my computer telling me, hey, we need space. Uh-oh. Okay. So this shape kind of comes more to a point. I think it comes down to here. And it's all the detail here. It's all this detail. Now, you can see patterns. I can see patterns. There's kind of like rows, and then there's these little ovals. So I'm trying to see how many rows there are. I can at least see 3 main rows. Harina with cheese. Yeah, tamales. Yep. Yeah, we had tamales at Christmas. Yeah, so you can always have something to open at Christmas. All right, here we go. That's an old joke. There we go. So I can see this row of corn there. See, this is where I'm not focusing on the detail. I'm focusing on the bigger things, right? And seeing how it all kind of fits together. So I see the rows kind of like going here. I saw that one big row, and then I can see how the rows are on the sides of that. And then let's see. Now it's just ovals in there. So just get these ovals in there. Is there another pattern? No, it looks like they're kind of going across. So here's an oval there. There's an oval there. There's another oval there. And actually that's just kind of looks like how it kind of goes. There's no other pattern to it. It depends on, yeah. I think there's usually another pattern. I don't know if they're usually shifted, but I'm just going to go in there and now just fill that in with these ovals. Good little exercise, good little practice. Actually, you see, the more you practice and just doing these exercises, kind of filling these ovals now, practicing these ovals, getting into the detail. This is where you can spend a lot of time. Just there's so much detail. The devil's in the details. Yeah, that's what they're saying. That's what they say. Yeah, because you can get lost in the details. That's why you want to learn to see the big space, the big shapes. I guess if the devil's in the details, God's in the big space, right? The big shapes. Right. So that's what that actually, yeah, the universe is the biggest space. The universe is the solution to everything. I heard once somebody say, the universe is the solution. All right, what's interesting about this corn is that the edge is here. So the edge, you want to make that edge rounded as it goes around these pieces around there. There we go. Here we go. I'm just going to continue with these little ovals in here. And that's kind of just almost texture, almost trying to get these kernels to be consistent and behind that. Here we go. Kernels. Finger looking good there. All right. And actually all this is up in here is in dark. It's shaded. It's all actually all the kernels kind of get lost in there. Putting a little bit, there's some shading in here. If you're new to drawing, the shading is just, it's not a big, I mean, there's certain techniques and things you can learn about shading, but I'm just going back and forth, hatching really tightly. Ooh, let's see. This pencil's like an H pencil, a light pencil. I like my other pencil. Yeah, once you get into shading, then you can start, looking at different pencils. There we go. There's my corn. I like that corn there. This one's at an angle. This one's going to be a little trickier. All right, let's get this husk in here. Right in there. A little bit of a... I'm going to give it a little more shape. See, I'm making it a little bit thicker. Now that I have it drawn, I can see, oh, okay, it should be a little bit wider. And all my sketch in there is shading now. It's all shading. But here's my oval. And then it kind of goes to a kind of like a point. There we go. Let's see. There's one main line right down the middle. That one main line. I see that. And then I see the other line on this side. And then another one. And maybe even another one. There's three. There's three. It looks like there's four, but I can only squeeze three in. I'm not gonna. It'll look fine with three. See, three rows or columns. These are columns. They're going up and down. There's another one there, and then another one over here. Maybe this one's too wide. And this is part of that, being able to switch back and forth. If you were to just focus on the detail, then you would probably lose the bigger pattern, this bigger shape, this bigger pattern. All right, let's do this. These don't line up as well as the ones over here. I think these kind of are more angled, it looks like. So they're more like bricks. So you see this one here, and it's, yeah, and then you can see the next one kind of like above it. And then the next one, they kind of alter a little bit. They kind of alternate. That alternates slightly. And then just fill that corn space in all the way up. Yeah, nature's amazing with patterns. Seeing the patterns in nature, just learning, just drawing nature is wow. You see the beauty. You really see and observe the beauty of nature. And see how it all fits. Put it more these corn shapes. We can spend a lot of time on this drawing. It has a lot of detail. All right, thank you for joining us tonight. If it's your first time, we're here every week, except we're gonna be taking a hiatus. I think it's the next 2 weeks. I think we have off. Thank you. Thank you. All right, here we go. Let's keep putting those corns in. Corn on the cob. Just oval shapes in there, how they fit. I'm not being very consistent. My mind is on other things as I'm drawing, but I'm just following the pattern. You can get lost in these drawings. and just like, or really trying to observe and trying to draw what you see, really focus on observing, being observant. That's one of the byproducts in drawing is you really, your observational skills go up. You see how things, and then you get into color and you get into shade and you get into, oh, the next levels. You get to next levels. A good exercise, which I'm gonna is well, there's a bunch, but you see that's where the videos will come in, is drawing your room. Your room is a whatever shape it is, probably a square or a little bit of a rectangle, and then seeing, okay, how big is the bed, how does that fit, and doing like a top view of your room or a room in your house or wherever you are. And that's a good exercise. Drawing maps. All right, I think that's it there. All right, so let's start with the stem. I think it's just the detail now. It's just the detail. Getting the detail, getting the all that in there is what's next. Let's see if I can get another pencil here. I don't like this one. Ah, here we go. This is a colored pencil. Los Angeles Public Library pencil. Yeah, I guess we'll continue with this one. Where's my blade? All right, so here we go. Let's just continue. All right, so I think there are these bricks that are in the background. There are these bricks in the background. You can kind of just block them in. These are interesting. If you can just see these like big shapes, like I made this a shape in here, but the other shape kind of overlaps or cuts into that one. There's other shape in here. This other shape right in here, and it's touching the pumpkin right in there. It's like the letter C shape right in there. The accuracy is not that important because nobody's going to say, hey, that's not that brick. That's not that stone. But you just kind of get the size and the placement. As everything else looks good, it's just these bricks these stones that are back here and this that are back here. And they cuts in there, cuts in here, right in there, another one back here, and they're all dark, so they're all shaded. They're all shaded. Another one's back here, right above that. It's in there. Behind that husk. Another one. Yeah, you aim for accuracy, but you're not, you know what percentage. It's not gonna ever be at like 100%, but the more you kind of shoot for it. I kind of had a thought. You should be happy with what you produce, but not should never well, I would complacent. Yeah. It should be you should be happy with it, with your work, but you should slightly be not complacent. Like say, okay, well, what's my next level? What else should I be working on to improve? Now, when I break everything down, you'll see, oh, like, okay, I'm just focusing on line, I'm focusing on this, I'm focusing on that, and that will help a lot. Well, what you're aiming at, what's your focus? Your focus. Because your focus is huge. What you focus on, where your energy goes, your attention, your energy, and that's what they're trying to get with all this social media. They're trying to get your attention, right? So you want to fight that, fight the powers that be. Here we go. Let's see. We're gonna try a different pencil. We're gonna try one from LAPL, which is the Los Angeles Public Library. This is the Los Angeles Public Library. See how this pencil kind of works. I've tested up here. Tested the shading. Oh yeah, this is not too bad. It's an HB. Yeah, this one's a little, I think a little darker than the last one I had. I'm just shading back and forth. There's all kinds of things with shading. You can hatch like I just did here, and you can also even rub. I don't like rubbing much, but these are really smooth. Um, there's also a darkness to it too. So to make it look like the arc, there's a little bit like a shadow. They do have form, so it's not a flat shading. There's a little bit of a darkness underneath. And so if you shade the whole thing one shade, and then put a little bit darker, like on the bottom half, that makes it gives it a little bit more form because the light's hitting the top, and it gives us this thickness that goes in there. And then this one cuts in this way. There we go. And then it's shaded as well. Yeah, you can really spend a lot of time with the shading and all the detail. I'm going to just do a little bit of it. I'm not going to do everything. You got to look carefully, like in here too, this pumpkin, there's a little bit of shading. And what's important when you're doing shading, you can get into a rendering where you're getting rid of lines. So we showed this edge, this contour with a line, but as you're putting shade on it, you're actually getting rid of that line, and you're doing more of a rendering and making it more real, right? Because that comes to an edge. Oh, we drew a pumpkin last year. Where is it? I think I had that sketchbook here right now. Where did it go? I'll show you the pumpkin we did last year. I saw it. I saw it earlier. Oh, is that it? No. Yeah, I think I took it out. That's all good. Let's continue. Yes, Peach. Peaches, peaches. All right, here we go. On my mind. Always on my mind. All right, now this wood here, I don't know. You can actually shade it slightly. You can actually put a slight shade on, and this is the way I would do it. I'd probably put a really slight shade on the whole wood thing, actually help push it back. And then it has that texture. It has like a texture, which is I almost did it with the with my shading. And I would actually work my pencil down. I would work my pencil down by shading it. And then going in here and just trying to get that texture. Now, if you notice our lines that we went up, they are thicker. So you want to get those lines thicker so there's a difference. It's contrast. What's the contrast? You always, that's one of the higher level thinking skills, having contrast and also doing contrast. So like this pumpkin pops because the background is darker than the pumpkin right in here, and this pops. So all this is a little bit darker. Seeing that this pumpkin pops because all this, I made this all darker back here, shading. And my pencil lead is kind of working down because I have it at a really strong angle. I'm not shading like this. I have my pencil down like this. This kind of wears it down and kind of gets it a nice smoother. Your shading will be smoother. So you notice how my pencil's worked out, and this shading is a lot smoother now because I have it at an angle downwards. All right, let's get the light on this pumpkin here at the back here. There's the shaded part down here. Yeah, I gotta check. So we'll be out. I don't know. I think it's next week and in the next 2 weeks. I might be here. I don't know. Let me see. I'd have to check the calendar. I think I took, but I'm definitely taking 2 weeks off. All right. All this is going to be shaded right in here. All this is shaded. I would probably shade it all like this. And then go in here a little bit darker, because this is actually a little even darker right in there, but not all the way up. Notice how I'm leaving a little bit of a light gap right in there. The light's coming down and hitting that part of that pumpkin or squash or whatever it is. There's no shadows. There should be shadows on this thing too, but I would probably, even occlusion, it's called occlusion. There would be shadows underneath, make it a little more realistic. I mean, you can actually go in here and do more things to make it more realistic, but I'm not going to. I think I'm happy with more or less with this, and can leave it alone. You can take your own time on it. I think the stem, I'll just do the stem because that stem is kind of different, but everything else is just shading. You can see like there's a shaded side of this apple here on this side. And there's that shaded side, even if you weren't to do it. And the pear too, there's shading on this side. And it's just really simple shading. It's just kind of like one little, it's almost like the core shadow. There's not a lot of shading here. It's just really simple. And then here, the peach. This is going to be a peach right here, a little peach up on top. Yeah, see this peach has a little division. And then shade it in. There you go. That's it. Oh yeah, more texture. See all this texture here, all this shading. And see, this is where you can really get lost in the drawing. This shading in here, notice where that shaded part is, this whole half of this pumpkin. Shaded. All right. Still got to do the stem. I'm still going to do the stem. But notice this part of the pumpkin right here, that's shaded. It adds to the form, adds to the form. Adds to the form, makes it rounded. See this whole area shaded there, and soft edge here. You can soften that edge just a little bit. Yeah, this is definitely intermediate to advanced once you start getting to shading. And it takes longer. That's when you can spend like hours on it. One drawing is like, All right, let's do the stem. I'm going to zoom in on it, and it'll be the last thing I do. So the stem, the stem has texture in it, and it's darker on this one side. So light source is actually from the left to the right. Is the left to the right. I'm gonna a little bit shading in here. I'm actually a little bit of shading over the whole thing first, like that. And I can actually put a little bit of a reflected light on this right side. Kind of gives it a little bit more real, makes it more actually three-dimensional. Here we go. I'm gonna add this texture. There's a lot of like little lines in here. I'm just putting it in on top. There we go. That's it. And I can actually even shade the background slightly. Make that top pop right there. See the top, just by adding a little bit of light value shading in the back, that top pops because it's contrast. Lights and darks, and ooh, we can get lost in all the shading. But you want to practice and doing your drawing, get good at the drawing before you get to the shading. Because the shading was just like coloring almost. It does take longer. All right, so yeah, when you're learning to draw. All right, that's it. I think that looks good. I think that looks good. That's almost ready to frame. You keep shading it, add some color. All right, there we go. Okay. That's it. Good night. No, I'm just kidding. Let's let's go to the next drawing. The next challenge. All right. Ooh, we're up to 19 people. Thank you for joining us. All right. If you missed that, it's on YouTube tomorrow. And oh, let's see how many. Let's go. Let's share my screen. We're at almost 200 subscribers.